Without any further delays, let's move on to the last panel of today, panel discussion 6, the end of Tier 1 and Tier 2, how distributed infrastructure is redirecting access. May I request our esteemed panelists to join us on the stage. To moderate this session, I would like to invite Dr. Shabnam Singh, Principal Advisor, Confederation of Indian Industry; Saurabh Gupta, Regional Director, KIMS Hospital; Architect Bakul Chandra, Founding Partner and Mentor, Resonance Consultants; Architect Manu Malhotra, Director, IIDC Architects; Dr. Satyajit Kumar Singh, Founder and Managing Director, Renaissance Consultants; Harpreet Singh, Facility Director, Maringo Asia Hospital; Baldev Raj, Founder and CEO, Prius Healthcare.
Thank you. So the end of the day is either the most exciting panel or it's, quickly khatam karo and let's go. I'll try and keep it as interesting as I can possibly do because I truly believe that this is one of the most important pieces for healthcare today. So before coming on, had the opportunity to sit with Vivek ji, Mr. Desai, and speak about the challenges. While we are looking at Viksit Bharat तभी होएगा जब सभी लोग साथ उठेंगे और you take them along. For that, only two things are what should be the foundations for this growth, and that is healthcare and education. And it has to be equitable and accessible. This can only happen if Tier 2, Tier 3, and जो कहते हैं ना बिछड़े हुए लोग जो हैं, आप उनको साथ ले जाएं. The PMJ scheme has now empowered the people to be able to have the money in their hand. आप जाइए किसी दुकान में, अगर आपके पास पैसे नहीं हैं तो आप बस देखेंगे, आप अंदर जाने की हिम्मत नहीं रहेगी. गवर्नमेंट ने आपको वो हिम्मत अब दे दी है कि आप अंदर जा सकते हैं. क्वेश्चन ये है कि मेरे को वहाँ पे मेरे घर के पास है, दूर जाना है. I would say 25-30 years when we started building hospitals, जो it used to be said it would take 100 people would drive, go, walk 100 kilometers to reach a hospital. If you look at what is happening in Tier 2, Tier 3, आप यहीं से आप मेरठ चले जाइए, देहरादून चले जाइए, and if you belong to Uttarakhand like I do and go to Mukteshwar, it is amazing to see the number of hospitals, small, big alike, medical institutions which have come up. So Saurabh, I'll turn to you first, and the question to you is, what exactly is driving this change? Has the consumer changed? What is happening in Tier 2, Tier 3 for this? Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Shabnam ma'am, and I would like to place my gratitude to Medgate for organizing this event. This is actually a very interesting question, ma'am, because I come from KIMS Hospital, and I'll talk about the journey, but this is a very different model. So we started our journey with a Tier 3 city, Nellore, and then we went to Tier 2 and then Tier 3. Now we run around 11,000 beds, one of the largest in India. So what we have seen is, especially after COVID, things have changed. So I would like to put this into three buckets. So one is the demographic shift and the change in behavior. So what is happening is, if you see around 40 million people will be added only in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities in the next 2 years itself. So by FY28, 40 million new people will be added. The second thing is, if you look at numbers, around 65 to 68% of the Indian population still resides in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Also, especially after COVID, the consumer buying behavior or healthcare seeking behavior has totally changed. Now people do not want to travel. They want to have the basic medical facility, and I do not mean basic, even the secondary care facilities at the back of their house. So, we are seeing hospitals coming up in every 5 kilometer radius. And I was just looking through our data, there are around 35,000 beds coming up by FY30, 35,000 new beds, and out of which 25,000 beds are coming in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So everybody is, joining the bandwagon. I think the second thing is the consumer awareness. So now people understand what is golden hour with mushrooming of cath labs and hospitals. Nobody wants to wait. Nobody wants to waste that particular window. So they just want to go to the nearby hospital, which is equally good because a lot of brands are there. We have accreditation even in smaller cities, and somehow as you rightly said with PMJY, money is there. You have coverage. Also, there is a significant chunk of population in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, which has an average disposable income of 5 to 10 lakhs per year. In fact, ma'am, I had a privilege of commissioning Medanta Lucknow in 2020, and the ARPOPs which we were actually hitting was 68,000 in Lucknow. So it's not like you have less money. And the third thing is the unit economics. That is very interesting because we have around 60% beds in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So the cost of building a bed in a tier 2 and tier 3 cities actually is 40% of what a metro is because of the land cost and other things. And you generally do not go for the high-end technology. You go for what is fit for use. It might be a 64 slice versus 128 slice, similar comparison, 1.5 Tesla to 3 Tesla. So the cost and also the operational cost actually are much lower in a tier 2 cities, but also ARPOBs are lower. But if you just compare both of them, majority of the hospitals in tier 2 and tier cities are doing 26 to 27% EBITDA margin with around 40,000 or 45,000 ARPOBs. So it's not a bad deal. It's not bad unit economics. Things are changing, and that's why everybody is trying to join the bandwagon.
Very interesting points, Saurabh. So you're saying that there is a shift in the thinking of the consumer today, which has been triggered by that unfortunate intervention of COVID, where people say, come to me, I don't want to go far. And because of COVID, we've been able to build out infrastructure there. And the other interesting thing you are saying is that the population in tier 2, tier 3 doesn't want to venture very far. That's very clear. They want it right in their backyard. The cost of putting these up, and I'll turn to you, Bakul, given your vast experience across geographies, when you look at the facilities which are being rolled out in tier 2, tier 3, right? And to what Saurabh's point is that in technology, you don't have to go to proton therapy and radiotherapy, right? You give what is absolutely needed. So what are the kind of construction that you're seeing? Where are the areas which are booming? Are diagnostics booming? Are individual specialities booming? What are you seeing happening in that area?
In my experience, the kind of clientele that we are getting nowadays is mostly individual specialist doctors who are developing their own hospitals. They are secondary level hospitals, but primarily focusing on one or two specialities, wherein they are very clear that they do not want to cater to the entire population or entire set of problems. They would like to concentrate on what they are best at, and they would like to give the best facilities possible. So I have a case in Badaयूं. He is an orthopedic, and he just want to make a 150-bed hospital catering to only orthopedics. Again, we are making a hospital in Meerut, where we have a pediatrician. We are just making for a mother and child facility, which is having almost 150 nursery beds and about birthing for about 7 to 8 simultaneously, and that's it. And they are very clear about it. And what I guess they do understand is that end of the day, they have to be sustainable models. They do not want to be very ambitious about it. They do not want to romanticize about it. हमें जो मालूम है हम वही करेंगे, and we are good at it, and we know how to sustain the system. And that's where things are heading. Apart from that, like they have made a hospital, they are equally supported by fantastic diagnostics. Until and unless they have it in-house diagnostic, it doesn't work. The moment you refer a patient out, the patient never comes back. So that's another feedback we get from all these doctors or promoters, that the diagnostics has to be in-house, they don't have to work. So end of the day, the entire system has to be one single window system. कॉफ़ी पीने भी बाहर आदमी नहीं जाएगा, कॉफ़ी अंदर ही मिलेगी. So, और घुसते ही कॉफ़ी की खुशबू भी आनी चाहिए. मतलब that's the kind of brief we get. ठीक है. So that's the way things are moving, and people are, I would say, investing tremendous amounts of money. They are not shying away from anything. जो बनना है, best of the best, because they are very clear that what are they competing with. They are competing with all the metro, larger hospital chains, and they do not want that particular patient to be referred further. And they are competent enough, they can tackle it there only. And the plus point, what I have observed is that most people are going back to their roots. If they belong to a Badaयूं or a Shahjahanpur or even a Tilhar, they are doing it, they are making hospitals in जहाँ दूर दूर तक कुछ नहीं है, वो बना रहे हैं, and they are very happy about it, and they are confident about it. And that's the way I guess the things are moving forward. And with telemedicine, everything is now more of an integrated hub. कोई consultation करनी भी है, there are enough people available to advise you. And moreover, travel times have reduced. अगर कोई specialist चाहिए भी किसी भी वजह से चाहिए तो the distances are about hour and a half. So that's where things have become. I have so many friends from Delhi, doctors, who travel to these smaller towns weekly or maybe fortnightly, and operating, maybe doing 20 procedures a day, just going and coming back. So that's the way things are heading.
Thank you. I think there's some very interesting points that you have brought up. And in the second round, I'll speak a bit about the financing and insurance. So you're saying that the facilities are being driven by people belonging to Tier 2, Tier 3, with a very specific agenda of building the hospital around what was traditionally before the corporatization of healthcare, you always had a doctor who built a hospital or a nursing home in those days and took it to an X level. But today you're saying, because they've trained and they've become super specialists, now they're making these super specialty hospitals, but it includes, very importantly, the diagnostics that support that super speciality. So this explains the mushrooming of IVF centers that I see everywhere. It does, of course, ring alarm bells as far as quality is concerned. But there's a very interesting point you also brought out, Saurabh, and that you said that the operational costs of this, given that the RPOPs are reasonably good at whatever, around plus minus 70,000, but no one has touched upon the human resource. So one of the challenges that one sees, right, or at least one hears about these challenges, is that while the cost of construction, land aside, the cost of construction is pretty much similar to what you would find in a Tier 1 city, and the technology is the same, the human resource is not the same, especially at the apex level.
Human resource, basic logistic costs in terms of housing, transportation, they are much less. And again, these service providers, in the sense, if you're talking about nurses, technicians, they are also coming from smaller towns. So if they are getting similar kind of an experience and exposure in smaller towns, they would love to stay there. So that is the major difference, where Tier 2, Tier 3 are giving serious competition to Tier 1 hospitals. And that thing, I guess, is the future, and we cannot stop it. And we should not.
No, not at all. I totally agree with you. But where I was coming from, and this was shared to me by, I don't want to name the group which is concentrated in Tier 2, Tier 3. And they were arguing, and because we are doing a lot of work in CII on the insurance piece across the country, that the human, so in your case, what you're saying is that if there is a super specialist doctor who is starting this hospital, so their compensation is absorbed into the fact that they are owners of the hospital. But if you were to employ that super specialist doctor, that super specialist doctor is going to cost you, and this is what they shared was 2.5 to 3 times what that doctor would cost them in a tier 1 city, because they want to be in tier 1. So that kind of skewed the operational model. I'll go to Baldev now, that what I'm sharing is some of the first cut of input costs for what we call medical inflation. These days, जब भी आप अखबार पढ़ेंगे, they're talking about medical inflation, wild numbers. Nobody's really done any work on it. But the early signs of whatever data that we have got is it's showing about 70% of input cost is dependent on technology, right? And as far as if you look at a bill of a patient, उसमें उल्टा हो जाता है, 63% of the price that he's paying is all for pharmacy. So how will tier 2, tier 3 manage this? Because whenever you have technology, and especially high-ended technology, ये बहुत बार सुनने को आता है कि वो मशीन खराब हो गई है, अभी इंजीनियर आएगा, सो हफ्ता भर के लिए वो मशीन वहीं की वहीं रह जाती है वैसे ही. So how does this ecosystem work for tier 2, tier 3?
Okay, so thank you very much for giving this opportunity, and I'll pick up from the two spaces first. So first, what Saurabh said and the other Mr. Bakul said. So I am right now, we are serving the players in tier 2 city. I'll tell you, we are helping Ayodhya Hospital, Meerut Hospital, Mysore, Barabanki to go to the any tier of it. There are two elements. So first, which Saurabh said, that the customer behavior is changing actually very aggressively. Why customer behavior is changing actually? They are exposed to the internet world actually. And they are in their selection of the process also, it's changed actually. It is not because of that they used to see, our parents used to see hospital and healthcare only in Delhi, Mumbai and all those places. But today's customer is changing rapidly. Why? Because the internet penetration is very high. The customer behavior is searching on net and AI. So they are looking something services which should be there near. So today we were discussing that they are very much aware that what is going to be therapies into it. They go with the doctor with their own preparations. That's one. And so that's the behavior which is changing. And why this is changing? Because this generation is getting everything in 10 minutes. So their expectation is servicing is in that particular model. It is not because of that, because the healthcare is available or not, but they are swiping at everything. That's one to Saurabh point which I pick up from. And the Bakul sirs is that I agree that super speciality people are coming up. I started in healthcare with super speciality space only, working with the RG Stone hospitals for a good 12 years with them. And I understood how the super speciality works into that space. But, so let's say we are helping Bangalore Hospital. They were the ortho first hospital, similarly. And the kind of super speciality shown the growth, let's say Rainbow, Cloud9, RG Stone, and those kind of people, they are going for IPOs. They are going for that kind of excellence. So this is the another angle to that particular arena, that tier 2 players are getting into the super speciality. So orthopedic is, I'm helping one of the player, they want to go up with the 30-35 centers only orthopedics. There's a player which we want, they want to go only urology, but 40 units into the country. So they are starting with one, but they are going for the multiple things. Now coming back to your point that how the economics and the thing is working, I feel as the AI and all those spaces are working, it is actually reducing the burden on two things. One, on the manpower also, because we all understand that doctors, paramedics and everybody is lack everywhere across the globe. This will help. I'm working with the tech company also, where they are helping radiologists. They used to see 100 patients in a day or 100 reports. Today they are seeing 1,000 reports in a day, right? By AI assisted, they are giving that another angle to it. There's another company, sir, it's a very interesting. They have collected the data which is from only doing the chest x-rays. So they are saying, while you are doing a chest x-ray, we can identify your heart issues also, your bone densities also, and so on. So these kind of things are coming into the world, which will reduce cost also. And there's another player, which is AMTZ. They were here in the morning. It's a special economic zone. They are creating the ecosystem so that India can build a lot of equipment devices in-house here. I believe till 2047 and so on, we look for the independency so that its cost goes down. And definitely tier 2, tier 3 market is going to flourish because the customer is changing and so on, the behavior and the player is also changing. So that's my take, and it will come down to a cost of it. Thank you.
Thank you. So there's a common thread and the reiteration of the strength and the lens now adjusting to a new reality of tier 2 and tier 3, which is very far removed from yesteryears. So Harpreet, you've heard whatever everybody has said. In the next round, I'm going to focus on quality and the quality and to some degree on the payment structures, what they need from a regulatory perspective for ensuring that the sustainability of this beautiful picture which is evolving is embedded. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. So everyone has made a very important point on all the aspects. You just mentioned in between about the human resources. I'd like to touch base that. So I've just joined Marengo. Before I was a director for Sterling Hospitals, Gujarat. So I could see a lot of difference between the geography, wherein that Gujarat belt, which Marengo has just taken over 2 hospitals there, and we're seeing that trend, wherein people still don't have trust over corporate hospitals right now. In Gujarat region, I will be specific. Lot of patients still tend to go to smaller doctors, clinics and theirs. And that's why, like you talk about the transparency, what I did in my previous organization was very, very important, because people have that mind frame that you'll go to corporate hospital, bill bahut badne wala hai. Who is going to pay that? So small thing what we've evolved there is the person who comes to an emergency, you have a bed charge, you have a nursing charge, you have a doctor charge. आप गए 1 घंटे में 5-6 बिल बन गया, which is issue with all of us in all our hospitals. So we evolved with a small thing, ER assessment charge. The charges was not as much high as in Delhi NCR, but 3,500 average bill was there for each bill, which I have seen. In Delhi NCR, you will see it will be 7,000 to 8,000. So I wanted to keep it lighter. So I made it 1,000. That was an ER assessment charge, excluding any consumables or investigation. Let's say someone has a peet mein dard hai, he comes with a croup pain. 1,000 rupee ER assessment charges for 4 hours, because NABH has that norm, 4 hours before you can't, you have to admit. So 4 hours he'll be on the bed, he'll get admitted, bed charge, doctor charge, no night charges, day charges, everything is same, including one painkiller, 20 rupees, 1,020 rupees, he goes back happily. That is a trust we wanted to build with people, and that, let me be very frank with you, that build on, we can't publicize this, but the word of mouth spread very, very well, and we were happy that people started at least coming, and we used to tell that this bill is now a one-liner bill, which used to have 4 heads. So I wanted to tell you that this transparency has to be built from us. While Marengo was taking a hospital in Vadodara, so everyone was saying, brand aa raha hai, brand aa raha hai. So they didn't have, they had some Bailal, smaller hospitals there, but still Sterling was the biggest one. So they thought some brand will come in. Doctors from local cities will come into those hospitals. That trust, they'll be involved with those doctors they have. But it is our duty to make sure that transparency, we build it on with the billing piece. So that doctors also come and get associated with the brands. We bring that trust to them. And yes, when a brand or any hospital tier 2 we go in, we will get a lot of technology, a lot of other things. That is what people are looking at. No one wants to travel 200, 300 kilometers for a small thing. These days also, what we used to do in earlier, our doctor from hospital used to go do an OPD there, aa jata the patient aa gaye, chalo operate kar di. But nowadays what everyone says, sir, will you come and operate? Then only we'll give you a time. We will not give you time if you're not operating there. So that's the thing. So, and also the culture in some tier 2 city, like I was talking about Gujarat, the visiting consultants culture is too much there. The full-time culture is very, very less there. So that we as a tier brands, when we come up to that center, that's our duty to bring that trust between, because people always saying the corporate hospital has come in, साल 2 साल बिजनेस कराएंगे, उसके बाद डॉक्टर साहब आपका बिजनेस नहीं हो रहा, थैंक यू, बाय बाय. So that is a trust we need to build in, and I used to sign bonds for 5 years with them, building that trust. Doctor sahab, we are a corporate hospital, but we will not say no to you. We are not asking about numbers, but that is a trust you bring with your patients and all. And with corporate hospital, we'll give you transparency in billing, we'll give you a technology, so that people have that trust in you, and the patients come to the hospital, the footfall increases, and the brand growth increases, and people have that trust in brands. So when I had joined Sterling, so people, lot of hospitals, brands used to go to Gujarat, even Max and a lot of hospitals, but you will say, will it work? Will it work? People don't have the transparency. Visiting consultant culture is not going away. How do we evolve that? So I met a lot of people, and a lot of people say, shall we really come to Gujarat? So that is a thing we need to ask ourselves. Okay, we have to be very transparent and sure what we tell as administrators, as the CEOs of the organization. We have to be very sure okay, what is the bandwidth we give to people, what is the job security are we giving to people. Okay, yes, you will be taken care of. You give a transparent and everything to the patients, and technology, the brand will back up, and we will not let you go. So that's a pull waiter. So with that, ma'am, like in Delhi NCR, what happens? A doctor comes from one hospital to other, he gets 15 people. Technician aa raha hai, nurse aa rahi hai, mera ye aayega, coordinator aayega, GD aayega, everyone comes in. But in other cities, it doesn't happen. Because people think, कि नहीं, doctor साहब जा रहे हैं, ये कितने दिन चलेगा हमें नहीं पता. So you want to build that trust कि नहीं, people have the trust कि मैं जा रहा हूँ, 5 people will come in. In smaller cities, people will have a clinic. उसका 1 lakh रुपए, he'll be giving a rent. But he will not stop that clinic. He will not shut down because he doesn't have that trust in that. How many years it is going to be running. So more important, so like ma'am, you said about the human resource, it's very, very important to at the end of the day build that trust in us. Rest things will all accommodate around that.
Very well said. So we've got 15 minutes more, and I'll just do a quick recap of what has been said. Fantastic opportunity. Customer is demanding it. There is no dearth of people who are ready to go and establish. झंडा गाड़ने के लिए सभी तैयार हैं. Underpinning everything is the concept of trust. There will be, after a time, from whatever I can understand, no difference in the technology that is being provided in Tier 2 and 3, which will be different from what is provided in the metro cities. So I wouldn't like to say that there's a filter, but yes, it will be right there in their backyards. I'll come to, as I said, the next round. Everything needs a supporting environment. So the supporting environment actually has been, from whatever I can understand, totally catalyzed. You brought in transparency and trust and quality into this issue. When you look at, and at CII, we're doing a lot of work on the National Health Exchange, where all the insurances will go through seamlessly. There still are some challenges here. And those challenges are, how do you get people to come onto these exchanges, because if you are not on the exchange, you don't get your money. And it's a seamless methodology of doing that. That's point number one. Point number two, when you talk about transparency, and this is something I've been struggling personally from 2008, and that is the cost of medical care. The input costs are widely divergent in the way the reporting takes place. Even this, my whole morning has gone just trying to struggle with the medical inflation only because everybody has a different way of capturing it. So given all the complexities and the fact that at the end of the day, this is a commercial venture. And in the commercial venture, the more regulation and guardrails that you put in, right? And you bring in methodologies which is traditionally abhorrent to people of being transparent. How do you address what the insurer needs, what the customer needs, and what the promoter needs? So I'll, Vakul, 5 minutes, 3 minutes to you and 3 minutes to all of you, and then we round up the session.
As an architect, I can comment on this issue in a way that I can design a fantastic hospital. But if the systems don't work, the clinical side is not taken care of, the patients don't have trust on the management, there is no transparency per se, then the system collapses. So end of the day, it would be a very fine piece of real estate. So systems need to work, systems need to work, systems need to work. There is no shying away from it. इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बना के हमने सोचा बड़ा बढ़िया बना लिया, लेकिन अगर चल ही नहीं रहा है तो बेकार है. So that is where we have to focus on from an architect's perspective, कि as soon as the patient is entering, I should have designed an environment where one is comfortable, one is, I would say, at peace with whatever is happening around there. The interaction with the first set of personnel is comfortable. They are made, जैसे आपने कहा कि भाई आए और सब कुछ फटाफट हो गया. And that is where tier 2, tier 3 hospitals are, I would say, being more successful than in tier 1. If I enter a large hospital in Delhi, वो 1 घंटे तक तो मुझे पता ही नहीं चलेगा मैं जा क्या रहा हूँ और कर क्या रहा हूँ. और वहाँ पे मैं 1 घंटे में सब काम करके दवाई लेके घर पहुँच चुका हूँ. And डॉक्टर ने भी मुझे 5 मिनट दिए. So that's the difference, and I guess that's where we need to focus on and take it forward from there. There is enough, I would say, monetary, how would I, पैसा सब जगह है, पैसा हर तरीके से आप कमा सकते हैं. समस्या ये है कि आप अगले को कंफर्टेबल दे के कैसे कमाना चाहते हैं. तो दैट्स वेयर वी नीड टू फोकस ऑन. बिल्डिंग तो सब बढ़िया बनती हैं, चलाने वालों पर डिपेंड करता है कि वो कितनी बढ़िया चलती हैं.
So system and processes. Sandeep.
So I'll go quickly. System and process. Anything in the world has to has processes, has to has SOPs. You see any of the bigger player in the world, they don't go without processes and SOPs. You can run a smaller unit without process and SOP, but you can't run a bigger player, or let's say a healthcare patient. To if the corporate hospital is into the tier 2 part of it, they feel, and I'll quote that, it's specifically because we do a surveys also with the client side, it is चोर है, छील देगा, corporate hospital में गए तो धो दे. मतलब these kind of sentiments are available in the public, right? How will you address this particular thing? So trust will not come only with the, as he rightly said, with the fancy buildings, doing the fancy offices, but the connectivity will make a difference, one. And as I said, the customer is aware now very much. So they are checking you not only your hospital website, they are checking your Google My Business, they're checking your Meta, they are checking your other elements, and if something crisis happened to hospital somewhere 5 years back, it is still reflecting on the Google, which is impacting the trust actually. They are not coming to it. So that's a very critical area which I feel hospital or healthcare players should address that, at least communicate that. If you don't communicate, it's a misunderstood point to them. So I feel trust is important, absolutely. As far as the cost coming down, it can be done with the new technologies. It is coming down. Working with the government and the hospital, I am seeing those costs are going down, which used to be earlier very high, but it is coming down. Any which way, it will go according to the time. But I feel that is but the tier 2 tier market is actually the market where healthcare is required. We should be there, and we need to address that. That's how
So that certainly heartens, makes me feel very happy, because in CII 6 years ago we started the tier 2, tier 3 movement. If you recall, Saurabh is also part of it. So it is working, but there is a lot more to do. Over to you, Saurabh.
Okay, so ma'am, we are talking about three things. So first is trust. The second thing is the clinical governance and overall governance and relationships. Now, trust is trust of the general public, because we are talking about tier 2, tier 3 cities, which is predominantly used to have a family doctor or nursing home. Now, an operator coming from outside, how do we build trust? Second thing is because many people question about the clinical governance practices and overall governance, billing systems and all in nursing homes. So how we tackle that. The third thing is the relationship, the empowerments with the insurance companies. So I'll give you an example, and this is a live example. So half of our hospitals, around 10 hospitals, are into a unique doctor partnership model. So what happened? They are subsidiary companies in which we have 51% and 49%. So KIMS has 51% and 51% or higher, and the local partner will have, local partner is a practicing doctor who has, a good clout and has a practice. So he will have a sizable stake. So I think Bakul was talking about it. So this is a very successful model. What happens is, day one, we solve all the three things, because first of all, there is already a trust factor with the doctor. And, he knows the market, he has good licensing control. We bring in all the clinical governance and governance, our billing system, transparency. So the brand name, comes, and our clinical protocols also. And we have some international and national accreditations. The bare minimum for any of our hospital is to have an NABH and a nursing excellence. So that is the bare minimum. The third thing is, since it's an existing hospital, majority of the panels are already on the board. And, you just need to revise and revisit some of those. So all three things are sorted. In fact, there are two examples. One is the Sunshine Hospital. I was actually the cluster CEO for Sunshine when we integrated. So Sunshine is one of the largest, joint replacement centers in Asia. We do around 5,000 joints a year, Dr. A.V. Gurva Reddy. So when we took over, the single hospital was doing around 25. It is doing around 42 now. That's flagship hospital. But what happened is, the ortho component has increased. But what has happened is, due to KIMS coming in, the rest of the 50 is all the other specialties. So that's how, his practice has also grown. We moved to a new campus, and the EBITDA margins have gone to 27-28%. So that's a very good example. And there are several examples, Six Sigma in Nashik, KIMS Manavta Nashik, and this has been very successful. I think going forward, brownfield will be the way with a lot of doctor partnerships. However, when it comes to flagship hospitals where you need to have proton therapy or something, some really novel technique, you will build. But those will be acute hospitals. Majority of the tier 2 and tier 3 will be consolidation, takeovers, doctor partnership.
Brilliant. Harpreet.
मैम सर ने बोल दिया कि हॉस्पिटल बन गया है, अब चलाना है, ठीक है. सो सिंपल थिंग, लाइक सर सेड, एंटर किए, 1 घंटे तक पता ही नहीं व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन द ये हेयर, बट वहाँ पे 1 घंटे हुआ. सो अगर वो 1 घंटे में सब कुछ करा दें, मैं आधे घंटे में भी करके देना चाह रहा हूँ. So what is what I want we should build, and we all have hospitals in Tier 2, we've all worked there. So talking about trust, transparency, insurer, governance, so that everything comes from us, wherein we also have that transparent billing. We've got a good doctor, young, dynamic doctor, local doctor who has a good patient footfall, brand is there in the city. Now patient comes in, similar treatment, what patient experience, what we expect in Delhi NCR, in a corporate hospital, in a hospital, flashy building, someone walks in, comes out from a BMW and walks in, and doctor sees like, we have a private OPD in the evening, but there is no private OPDs in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. There are no separator. There are same place, same everyone is sitting. So, but the care which has to be there, which we so-called corporate hospitals, we say okay, we are providing in to all the patients, is not fair enough. We treat differently in a lot of hospitals and CGHS and ECHS. But in Tier 2 you go, you have a lot of footfalls from PMJY. A lot of hospitals are running on PMJY, let's be honest. But you have to accomplish, the patient experience is very, very smoothing. And let me tell you, the PMJY card holders in outside Tier 2 cities can easily afford us. Even they can afford the Delhi hospitals as well. But those, how, I don't want to say in this platform, how those PMJY cards are made, we all know that. But we all need to focus on the trust, transparency billing. Here in Delhi, we pick up a call and call the TP insurer. Let's say this person has got an insurance, ये मेरा approval है, please 5 minutes में भेज देना. He gets an insurance, we pick up the call. But similar thing should happen in a Tier 2 city, where people are afraid of calling a regional head or some hospital. Here, because Delhi NCR has all the corporate offices are of TP insurance and there, we all have connect, so we call them and you get an insurance in 5 minutes. But there it doesn't happen. So that is what we need to bring in. That is the patient experience. Tak patient आया, आपने ओपीडी में डॉक्टर साहब ने देखा, ऑपरेट हुआ, ट्रांसपेरेंट बिलिंग, वन लाइनर बिल. ऑब्वियस insurers like we have GIPSA here and those Tier 2 cities also, but there are own policies, they have their own tariffs. We need to abide with that. Similar, it will take 10 minutes to get that approval. So we just need to abide with that when patients are okay to pay money. Patients are not willing, I have to go for a PMJY only. Lot of hospitals in Tier 2 cities have PMJY, but they are restricted to some specialties. Some will have a onco cluster, some will have a cardiology cluster because the rates are better. But let me tell you, that patient will again come back to you. You have operated that patient very finely, he is very happy with you, he has got some onco or cardiac procedure done, but in your hospital, the PMJY is only catering to one specialty. You are not catering to other, but he is happy with your hospital. But he will surely come back to you and get a treatment for the other specialty. So that is the patient experience we need to bring in, and Tier 2 will work upon. Thank you.
So, excellent. Yes, please could you give a very loud round of applause. It's been absolutely fantastic and huge eye-opener. As I mentioned in my opening remarks at CII, we're working very closely on a daily basis on the insurance issue. Please do give me all your feedback, because there are some nuances which you have said here which are totally not being addressed. Clearly there is, and if anybody has any insights on the model that works for Tier 2, Tier 3. There are a lot of nuances that you've all brought up, and I hope somebody has taken some notes in this, which not only the regulator, but the insurance companies need to do. It'll be music to their ears when I tell the CEOs tomorrow that this is what I heard, कि Tier 1 में phone उठाया और हो गया, Tier 2 में ये नहीं हुआ. So they'll be delighted, because actually the Rona Gana is pre-authorization नहीं आया, TAT नहीं हुआ, ये नहीं हुआ, broker है, all of that. But I won't go too much. If anybody has any input, insight on this, please drop us a mail. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Desai, for putting this together.
Thank you so much, all the panelists. Now, may I request Mr. Afzal Kamal to facilitate the panelists. Baldev Raj, founder and CEO, Prize Healthcare. It's time for a group photograph.